All right, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So this is the review episode of the weekend matches, part one. So we will talk about all the matches that took place till yesterday, that is Saturday. So where do we begin, Amitabh?
So Rahul, we begin at Wembley with the FA Cup semi-final between Manchester City and Liverpool. And as previously discussed about the match, Liverpool put out their best team, and unfortunately, City were not able to do that. De Bruyne and Kyle Walker, even their centre backs, Diaz and Laporte, they did not feature in the match entirely. And yeah, the first half totally belonged to Liverpool. They took a 3-0 lead. The substitute goalkeeper, Jack Stephen, he committed a horrendous error to receive the second goal. And yeah, the match looked dead and buried by the halftime itself. But somehow City struck a quick goal just as the second half started, and it looked that there will be some sort of a competition, some sort of a fight back by City. But to everybody's surprise, Guardiola actually did not bring in any of those you know um, first team players who were acting as substitutes yesterday. So I think it was pretty evident from his team selection and then his decisions throughout the match that out of all the matches, out of all the competitions they are still in, I think this was of least priority. And late in the first half, once Mahrez came on, he assisted Bernardo Silva for the second goal. So in the second half, yeah, so in extra time. So they looked like for 2-3 minutes we might have some sort of an intense competition. But yeah, that was about it. Liverpool came out 3-2 victors. I think a pretty simple and easy victory for Liverpool. No major scare for them, and actually the scoreline flattered Manchester City. No?
Yeah, I mean, again, as soon as it started, Ibrahima Konate, I think he just cannot stop scoring. I think it's 3 goals now in as many weeks. So yeah, and then all of a sudden, it looked like it was just 1-0 to Liverpool, and it was still competitive, right? But then all of a sudden, Jack Stephen made this error, which Sadio Mane capitalized on. I mean, Mane has scored what now? 10 goals against Manchester City already. Wow. Like, I don't really think that there's a lot of players that hold that record against, Manchester City ever since, someone like Guardiola took over. Uh, and yes, as soon as it was 2-0, it was not just the kind of goal that Liverpool scored. It was kind of goal that actually demoralized the whole City team. It's just so hard to recover from that. And then just when there was still scope, for City to make a comeback just before just before the first half ended. Mane again scored a wonderful goal, and in my opinion, it just ended any chance of any comeback from Manchester City. And yeah, they did score a goal as soon as the second half started, but in my opinion, it was still too little, too late. Yeah, I mean, like you said again, it's not that Liverpool were better. I mean, they were better, but at the same time, this was not City at their best. Not only at their best with the game that they were playing, but also not at their best because of the personnel. They didn't really play a lot of those players that we actually expected to play. I mean, even some like Ruben Dias, who was on the bench against Atletico. So we thought that maybe he's on the bench in this match. He's Guardiola is probably saving him for a start in this match, but no, he didn't start this match either. So yeah, maybe it's all about. I mean, because they also feel like uh, if they lose like this, they will still have some excuse that they didn't play their best side. But the fact that they are still ahead of Liverpool in the Premier League table, and if for some reason now Liverpool are able to overtake them, then it'll just be something that be a morale that'll just lower down the morale of the entire team. And again, we knew that even though City managed to win the game against Atletico, but then the way they managed to win it, right? Pretty sure that City would have felt the after effects of that match, the physicality of Atletico. So yeah, in a way, a lucky time for Liverpool to play against City.
Yes, absolutely. I just hope that. I mean, I don't know. I don't care, but I think this result will have some sort of a bearing in the title race as well. So we'll have to wait and watch. Talking about the Premier League, we can discuss about Tottenham Hotspur at home against Brighton. So Brighton won the match, scoring a late goal in the second half by Trossard. So Brighton come up with 6 points from the two matches in London in the past 2 weeks. And it was just an off day for Tottenham, quite frankly. the front three, Son, Kane, and Kulusevski, they did not, gel well. They did not create a lot of chances. Kulusevski was actually lucky that he was not shown a straight red for an elbow in Kukureya's face. So yeah, I mean, it just seemed that they never got started in this match, unfortunately, and as unfortunately for them. And again, as things generally are, the smaller team kind of hits you with the sucker punch late in the second half, and you have absolutely no time to react. So yeah, 1-0 win to Brighton. Again, after a recent dip in form, Brighton have come back with flying colors. So yeah, the stock of the team and the coach Graham Potter again pretty high now.
Yeah, I mean, again, the biggest winners I think of these sort of matches are probably Manchester United. Yeah, I mean, Tottenham played and they lost, and it didn't. I mean, the alarming stat is that they failed to have a single shot on target. Like, they have been scoring so freely. I mean, the way all the new signings, Bentenker and Kulusevski, have gelled, with the entire squad. The fact that now again they're only in one competition, so playing a game a week. So Conte has actually had time, to on the training pitch to instill his own methods, which is why we've actually seen a resurrection from someone like Harry Kane, and we already know the partnership, the combo of Harry Kane and Son. But in this match, that was just not on display. But they needed this kind of a result. It was more like a wake up call. We've seen, how Arsenal have been going on a downward spiral. So maybe Conte doesn't really want that to happen to Tottenham. So yeah, maybe. I mean, Brighton again, 2 weeks in a row, 2 matches in North London, and they take 3 points in both of those matches. Maybe it's a North London thing, right? To lose to Brighton at home. But yes, I'm kind of happy as well. I mean, it is what it is, right? They need to, like, maybe we were in a way over appreciating Tottenham, or maybe Conte, but yes, there are still some issues that need to be addressed there, and I don't really think that one transfer window is going to do it, because first of all, irrespective of how much money Conte wants Tottenham to spend, I don't really think that Levy will spend it. So yes, it will take some time, but a wake up call, a timely wake up call, I would say.
Yeah, talking about Arsenal, who are in direct competition with Tottenham for that fourth spot, they again managed to lose away from home, a side that lost 6-0 in the previous match against us. They were able to win 1-0 against Arsenal, Bednarek scoring the goal in the 44th minute. Fraser Foster, who had a great game against us as well, despite the scoreline being 6-0, he made a couple of fantastic saves, so good on him. And yeah, Arteta bemoaned the chance of flowing some space back against Tottenham after their display earlier in the day. But it seems like nobody wants that fourth spot. As soon as somebody looks, odds-on favorite to have that, clinched, somehow they manage to fumble up whatever games they're in. So yeah, the Saints win against the winners 1-0. Rahul?
Well, yeah, Arsenal lost like 3 games in a row, and I think 4 out of 5, if I'm not wrong. But then that's the thing, we see this happen now. Their next match is actually against Chelsea. I mean, let's hope that it's 4 out of. I mean, they do 4 in a row instead of making a comeback against Chelsea. Yes, we actually talked about this. That Southampton are a team that whenever something like that happens, they do make they do respond in a positive manner. I mean, the fact that they were playing at home, and the manner of the defeat against Chelsea. Ralph Hasenhüttl actually made a lot of changes, from the team that lost to Chelsea. Someone like Livramento didn't start. Armando Broja, who was not eligible to play against Chelsea, was actually back in the squad. So yes, in a way, even someone like Mohamed Salisu, who has been really good. I mean, obviously he was really poor against Chelsea, but yeah, because of that one match, even he was someone who was taken out of the side. Someone like Dianco, that they had signed earlier in the season from Torino, if I'm not wrong. Even he was given a rare start in the Premier League. So yes, I think again we knew that how it's like with Southampton. Just be defensively solid, work as a team, try to score one goal, and then once you do manage to do that, just defend that 1-0 lead. Um, and that's actually what happened. The game entirely played into um, Southampton's hands. Having said that, again, the same issue that we have been talking about earlier with Arsenal, it's their inability to sign a striker. Uh, yeah, I mean, till the time they were performing well, winning games, uh, Lacazette was also playing well, but then all of a sudden, Lacazette's form has dropped, and all of a sudden, even they are now losing matches, and there is just no one, who can change it. I mean, in fact, in this match, it was Balogun, I think, who started. I mean, he did make a couple of changes. Even someone like Tierney wasn't there. Thomas Partey, we already know, got injured against Crystal Palace. So again, little bit of, I mean, again, not a good time to have a slump.
Yeah, right. So let's see what happens as far as that race for the fourth is concerned. Fourth position is concerned. I did want to Manchester United now will say that even they are in with a shout after a close, tightly fought victory against Norwich, something that we did predict. Um, Now, if we, on the face of it, we say that Manchester United 3-2 against Norwich. So, yeah, United must have played well. It was actually the opposite. They played horrendously. And especially without the ball, the team looked lazy and, again, no tactics was employed when Norwich had the ball. Norwich created a lot of chances. Unfortunately, they scored only 2 goals. And again, clearly the difference maker between the two teams, between Manchester United and Norwich City, proved to be Ronaldo. I mean, and that one statement really sums it up. That is how far United have actually fallen. So, yeah, well done to them. A crucial home victory, but a huge rebuilding job on hands for the expected incoming coach, Ten Hag. Rahul?
I mean, another thing that I want to say is that the next few matches of both these teams, Arsenal and Manchester United, Manchester United play Liverpool midweek, and then it's I think they go to Emirates, and similarly for Arsenal, it's a trip to Stamford Bridge, and then they play United at home. So again, for both these teams, if they're uh, chasing the fourth spot, two important matches because obviously uh, you can still see something, in Chelsea versus Arsenal, but when it comes to Liverpool versus Manchester United, it does kind of look like it's gonna go one way. So yeah, let's see. So in a way, good, even though Tottenham dropped points, but if they now manage to win their next two fixtures, which are obviously going to be easier than these four matches, then yes, they will still be able to make up ground. Other than that, we did talk about the fact that this was going to be a close match. Yes, and that's what happened. Individual quality, individual brilliance of someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, just carried Manchester United over. I mean, yeah, we all know what United are, and again, it's like um, it's just not going to change, right? Because uh, we've seen this is how they have been, right? Uh, and it's like if you keep doing the same thing, then again, it's called insanity. Keep doing the same thing and hoping to expect a different result. So yes, in some of these matches against a team like Norwich, yes, Ronaldo did well because of his individual brilliance. But again, when you play in a big match like against a City or a Chelsea or a Liverpool, just one player is not enough, even if that one player is Cristiano Ronaldo.
And finally, we had Watford against Brentford. So Brentford took the lead. Watford replied in the 55th minute, and Watford actually was quite wasteful of chances. They hit the bar, the post as well. So, and in deep into extra time, free kick by Christian Eriksen and the defender Janssen. He scores a header, and Watford come away with all 3 points, 2-1 win away. Now,
Yeah, like Brighton, all of a sudden Brentford have also picked up form. They're I think 11th in the table. Wow, like seriously, their first time in the championship, their first time in the Premier League in a long time, I guess. So yeah, great going. Someone like Thomas Frank has done a great job with this squad on such a small budget. Whereas Watford, it does look like they're down, right? Like they're going down. There's nothing that can stop that from happening. Yeah.
okay, so that's from England. Let's move on to Bundesliga now. The only match of any note yesterday was Dortmund against Wolfsburg and 6-1 to Dortmund. Uh, a whole host of scorers. Haaland, who had not scored in I guess 5 matches previously, he brought a brace. So they are 6 points now behind Munich. Munich who play today. So again, just 4 matches left in the league. If something has to happen in favor of Dortmund, it has to happen today. Uh, let's see. Let's see. But I think the title is actually shown up, but a confidence boosting home victory for Dortmund. But then they have been playing well. It's just that consistency has not been there. So, yeah, anything else you'd like to say on?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, what do you say? When a team wins 6-1, that's the thing. Uh, they got everything right. Like in a way, everything that they did went into the back of the net. Someone like Haaland scored. All these players came back from injury. And again, it's like when they're actually, and it doesn't really get any easier for Dortmund, right? Because their next match is actually against Bayern Munich at the weekend. Their classical, yeah. So they knew that they needed to take points in this match, hoping for a miracle that somehow if Bayern drop points and then they are able to beat Bayern, maybe there's still some hope for a miracle. But I mean, like you said, even I agree that I think it's all gone now. I think it's again too little, too late by now. They do need to see if they can do what they did on a consistent level. Let's see.
They have to buy players, intelligently first of all in the transfer window. Moving on in La Liga, on Friday we had Sociedad against Real Betis. Again, both the teams needed 3 points here, and unfortunately the match ended in nil-nil draw. Silva wrote a red card for Real Sociedad, so I don't think this result actually helps anybody. Around your views?
Yeah, I mean, and then they'll draw. Both teams wanted to win, but then we kind of predicted actually that this would be a draw, cagey affair, and yeah, that's how it ended. The only question is that I think Sevilla will now. Sorry, I think Sociedad will now miss David Silva, and I think their next match is against Barcelona in midweek. So yeah, that's a problem for Real Sociedad. But other than that, these teams again, there's just in a way a dearth of competition in La Liga. Uh, both teams have been so underwhelming at times this season, and this was just another instance of that.
Yeah. Yesterday we had Villarreal against Getafe. Getafe who were actually unbeaten at home in previous 10 matches, and Villarreal made 7 changes to the team that squared off against Bayern Munich midweek. So the best part for Villarreal was they have found it hard to score domestically. They started well and scored 2 early goals in the 7th minute by Moreno and Munoz in the 16th minute. I think from there it was just plain sailing. They just looked to take the foot off the gas and just manage the game from there in which they did actually. Getafe did score in the 63rd minute, but again, no major space. All 3 points to Villarreal. Rahul?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, like you said, 7 changes, and still they managed to win because we predicted that Emery would do something like this again, and then that would result in them losing. But kudos to Villarreal, kudos to the French players, right? Maybe they knew that this is another opportunity for them to impress and stake a claim in the actual starting lineup. Like in the first team. So yes, a lot of these players grabbed that opportunity, and at the same time, you beat or at least go through against a team like Bayern Munich, you are again full of confidence, right? So maybe that also played a part that you were against someone like Getafe, and then they felt that wow, man, we just managed to knock out someone like Bayern Munich. So again, that just spurred them on. So kudos to Villarreal, kudos to Emery. Yeah.
Yeah, moving on, we can talk about the Serie A now. On Friday, we had both the Milan teams in action. Spezia against Inter. The match ended 3-1 in favor of Inter. Brozovic with very good goal, left-footed top corner. He started the scoring. Martinez scored in the 73rd minute. Spezia responded in the 88th minute, and finally in extra time. I think Sanchez has scored a lot of goals in extra time or late in the second half. So good 3-1 win for Spezia. The second match, AC Milan against Genoa, after having drawn the previous 2 matches. Liao started the scoring early in the first half, 11th minute. And from there on in, again, Milan sort of managed the game. Late in the second half, Junior Messias, I think he scored in the reverse fixture as well. So, yeah, 2-0 win to Genoa. I think we predicted a 2-goal margin for both the matches. We were right on that front as well. Rahul?
Well, again, to be honest, when Inter Milan played, they looked like a team possessed, right? I mean, you could actually see the difference in class, right? Like it's Inter Milan, one that's chasing the title, and the other is that is trying to avoid the drop. So yes, the difference was evident for everyone to see, and that's what happened. Uh, and they also knew that the fact that they're playing first, that means that if they win, they can actually put pressure on AC Milan and the other teams that are playing later. And that's what happened. Some great goals. They've got such a great squad again. So yes, they've made full use of it. And again, this thing of 5 substitutions that just really works so well. Um, some great goals, great 3 points for someone like Inter Milan. Having said that, the pressure was all on in AC Milan, right? And yes, on paper they got away with 3 points and they kept in touch, right? They're still top. Inter Milan do have a game in hand, but then it's actually not as simple as that. I mean, even someone like Calabria, I think they're right back. He hasn't really played much this season, and again had to pull out. Even someone like I think Matteo Gabbia started, but he also got injured midway in the first half. I think a hamstring injury. Zlatan Ibrahimovic remains out. So there are these issues that are still there. Yes. So let's see if they actually impact Milan's performance in the next round of matches. Yes, in this match, it was a very workmanlike performance. Um, I think Genoa, who had actually lost their prior match. So yes, and even again, the same logic applies, right? AC Milan team that's chasing the title, and Genoa that's actually looking like someone that's gonna go down. So yes, AC Milan. On top of that, they were coming. They had I think 2 draws in a row. They drew against Bologna and I think Torino. Yes, so it was imperative that AC Milan take all 3 points from this match against Genoa. Yes, so that's what happened.
Yeah, so Inter are still 2 points behind Milan with a game in hand. So technically, they do hold the advantage provided they win the match. So let's see, let's see. Still 6-7 weeks to go. Yesterday, we had Cagliari against Sassuolo. Cagliari won this match at home, 1-0. Rahul?
Well, yes, like we said, we keep talking about Sassuolo. They turn up. I think it's. I kind of feel like for a team like Sassuolo, it's a motivation thing. Like when they play against big teams, it's just so easy for them, to turn up. I mean, they've already taken points from the likes of Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, for that matter. But then all of a sudden, when they're playing a team like Cagliari, maybe it's just so hard for them to get motivated. And for someone like Cagliari, who knows that they need to avoid the drop, again, someone that's giving their all under someone like Walter Mazzari, right? So that's what happened. I think we kind of predicted that this could actually, yeah. I mean, it's like they take points from the big teams and they distribute it to the smaller teams or the lower teams. And similarly, they didn't really disappoint. Like we knew, it's like we just know this is how it's gonna be, and yeah, that's how it is. I hope like for the personnel that they have and the players that they have, that they actually do find some consistency and they don't become just predictable. They actually, you know, the way they play against the big teams. I hope that they actually play that way against the small teams as well.
Yeah, but where's the fun in that? Um, the next match we can talk about is Fiorentina against Venezia. Lucas Torreira has actually been in some sort of a scoring form of late. So he scored another goal in this match, which proved to be decisive. And Fiorentina come away with all 3 points. So again, I'm just trying to hope that there is some sort of a competition for the fourth spot, but it looks highly unlikely. Fiorentina are still 7 points behind Juventus. So okay, I think fifth is the best that the Chasing Pack can manage this season at least. In between, Juventus are really flying high and they have mustered up a lot of points. So yeah, 1-0 win for Fiorentina. Pretty impactful home performance and a home win. Rahul?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, ever since Vlahovic has left, yes, they've signed someone like Piontek, they've signed someone like Arthur Cabral from Basel. But yes, I think both of these players are still taking a little bit of time in adapting, which is why we predicted a 1-0 victory. But I mean, we predicted a victory, but then we also predicted that even if they win, it's not going to be a goal scoring affair. We predicted a tight KG affair. So maybe yes, I do have a feeling that both of these players will adapt eventually. Maybe once they actually have a preseason, and from next season we'll start to see the best of someone like Arthur Cabral or Piontek. But yes, this season at least it does look like letting go of someone like Vlahovic was not a good decision, because maybe had Vlahovic stayed, they, I mean, not even maybe, I think they definitely would be higher up the table. But if eventually these two players do hit the ground running from next season onwards, or whatever, then yes, uh, we'll probably be talking about Fiorentina a little bit more, especially under the stewardship of someone like Vincenzo Italiano, who has been such a breath of fresh air for Serie A. Again, someone who plays this pressing game, something that not a lot of teams play in Italy. So yeah.
Yeah, talking about Vlahovic, he was actually instrumental in, Juventus getting 1 point against Bologna. Bologna, who had recently drawn their match against Milan, so that's 2 points of the top four teams, two of the top four teams. It was actually Anatovic, a former Stones player, who started the scoring, rounded the goalkeeper, and scored the first goal. And Juventus actually created chances, but unfortunately they were not able to, bury those chances. Sometimes they hit the woodwork. The goalkeeper was great a couple of times. Their winger Quadrado, he technically missed an open goal. I know it was from a distance, but he could have at least hit the target. Um, so in the 84th minute, Sumaro got a red card for a dangerous foul, and Gary Medel, Chilean player, he remonstrated with the referee, and he got, a red card for his troubles as well. So technically, Bologna played the last 10 odd minutes with 9 men, and even then, I think it was a corner or a free kick, and Morata tried to bicycle kick it, and somehow it landed on Vlahovic's head. So they were actually lucky to get away with 1 point, Juventus. But yeah, home draw for Juventus and good for Bologna, a good away point. Rahul?
I mean, I was just looking at the lineup as well. I mean, Juventus actually only started with someone like Adrian Rabiot in the midfield. They're missing so many players, and all of a sudden, it's all these players that are missing in their midfield. So I think there's no someone like Arthur. There's no that guy that they signed from Sassuolo. Not really sure.
Chiesa.
Obviously, KSI is a long-term injury, and he's been out for a long time. But in their midfield, I think even someone like Daniel Zakaria came on, and he wasn't really fit enough maybe to start, or maybe he did miss a lot of matches. So yes, because of that, they didn't want to risk. Even we all know someone like Weston McKennie is out injured for a long time, but there's some like Locatelli. Yeah, Locatelli has gotten injured, so that's a question. That's a key player that they're missing, which is why I think they had to sign. They had to start with someone like Danilo or Quadrado in midfield. They had to change their formation again. Someone like Morata and Dybala and Vlahovic started together. So yes, they are missing players. And another thing to worry about for Juventus is that they're actually missing a lot of the key players in the same position. So yes, that's why I think a good point for Bologna, and especially when you take into consideration that they were down to 9 men at one point. So yeah.
Moving on, Lazio had a wonderful opportunity to leapfrog Roma. It was actually two of the Italian strikers, Immobile versus Belotti, Lazio versus Torino. Um, Again, at home, Lazio were lucky to get an injury time equalizer, Ciro Immobile scoring that goal. So 1-1 again at home, and again, as I said, a chance missed by Lazio that could have leapfrogged Roma for the fifth spot if they had won the match. Rahul?
I mean, yeah, like we said, like we predicted actually that it was going to be a draw. I mean, it's in a way reminiscent of all Sari teams. When it actually matters, they do kind of choke, right? Like it was a great opportunity for them, to in a way close the gap on someone like Roma, especially when you take into consideration that Roma are actually playing against someone like Napoli. So there's actually a very good chance that they will drop points. and even still they could not really capitalize. It does look like all these. I think for Torino, I think someone like Andrea Bellotti, his contract expires in the summer. He's probably going to leave as well. I read that now Lazio and for that matter AC Milan. I think AC Milan's defender Romagnoli. I think he's also leaving. His contract expires, so it looks like he has actually agreed a deal with Lazio. He's probably going to join them because I mean it's something that again happens only in Serie A, right? Like any like uh, for instance, if a Chelsea player is leaving, Chelsea would not really want that player to join someone like Manchester United or Arsenal. But then in Serie A, it doesn't really matter. Even if you're a Milan player, you can still go to Inter Milan, and no one really talks so much about it. Like we saw already with Charanoglu leaving Milan to join Inter. So maybe someone like Luis Felipe of Lazio could leave, and he could go to Milan, and then all of a sudden someone like Romagnoli could join Lazio from Milan. So all these things are so apparent, so common in Serie A. Like whatever makes sense uh, on the pitch, they just go for it. They don't really think so much about the emotions or affiliations that a player might have with a certain club. In terms of the result, yes, it doesn't really help any of the teams, in my opinion. We have said that Torino are again a good team. Someone like Bremer, again, so strongly linked with Inter Milan, again had a wonderful game, a great defensive performance. Someone like Pietro Pellegrini, I think he joined them on loan, I think if I'm not wrong, from Monaco, an Italian striker, and he scored his first goal in Serie A in almost 5 years. So, yeah, not a very good match to watch for Buito, I guess.
Okay. So that was it, guys, from us talking about the matches that took place on Saturday. We'll be back with our review of the Sunday matches tomorrow. Till then, take care and thank you.
All right, guys.